Hello students, welcome to the another session. We are going to discuss the JEE Main Test 54. I have solved it right now, and from the solution that I did, I can make out it was easier than yesterday's one. Yesterday was a horror show, but today also it's not an easy paper. It's again a challenging paper, not that challenging as it was yesterday. I have regarded 3 as tough, 14 as medium. Sub medium might feel tough to you also. I was in dilemma also to rate it what medium or tough. So most of these are in the category between medium to tough, you can say, and 7-8 questions you can say were easy. Easy means direct formula putting that you have practiced much more. So let's begin, and for the time, please share these solutions to your friends. Keep subscribing this channel, keep sharing the channel. Let's start. So let's start the paper. A bullet is fired from a gun. The force on the bullet is given by F is 600 minus 2 into 10 to the power 5 t, where F is in Newton, t is in second. If the force on the bullet becomes 0 as soon as it leaves the barrel, then the average impulse imparted. So when it leaves, force becomes 0. So when the force is becoming, first of all, check it. So the time will come out as 600 upon 2 into 10 to the power 5. I can make it out like this is 600 into 10 to the power minus 5. I write it as 10 to the power minus 2, 10 to the power minus 3 upon 2. This get cancelled. That is 3 milliseconds. So this is the 3 millisecond. Now look at this expression. This is a linear expression. The force will be something like this. So if I have to calculate the area, F impulse is force into area. So this simply half this length into this, and this length I know is 600 and this I know is 3 milliseconds. So for me the impulse is directly half into 600 into 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. So what we now have, that is half into, let's say, 0.6 into 3. So 1.8 by 2, that is 0.9 Newton seconds. So do it by option D. Okay, next. A cavity of radius r is made inside a solid sphere. The volume charge density of the remaining is rho. An electron is released from rest inside the cavity from point P as shown in the figure. The center of the sphere and the center are separated by a distance a. The time after which the electron again touches the sphere. Now here, first of all, you need to remember that inside this cavity the field will remain constant. And what was that field? Let me derive it again for you. You must have done this in your coaching material, but let me have it. Let's say like this. This is the center like this. So consider any point, let's say P or Q or something. First let's assume complete is filled. So due to complete, if I have to write, I'll say, wait a minute, let's say, let me draw it again, it's not looking proper. Let's draw it clearly. Let's say this is the complete sphere, and let's say, let me again try. Let's say yes. Now this is almost it's good enough, and no issues. So now what I have, these are the two centers. If I look at this point, let's say first position vector be r1, so I say due to complete would be rho r1 by 3 epsilon naught, and due to this remaining part which is actually not here, let's this position vector be r2, so subtracting that out, that is rho r2 by 3 epsilon naught, which comes out as, due to the remaining one, rho r1 minus r2 upon 3 epsilon naught. Now what is r1 minus r2 vector? This is this vector which you call as vector A. So the net field inside cavity at any point irrespective of r1 r2 will always be rho A by 3 epsilon naught. Now because it is electron, the field is directed here, so electron will feel a force opposite to it. So while it goes from P to there, if it goes horizontally, it will meet again, let's say, at this point Q. So from common sense, what I can say, this angle is 45. This will again be R, so this will become an isosceles triangle, so this will also be 45 and this will be 90. So this length PQ length would be, what I will have, this is R square plus R square under root, that would be root 2R. So it has to travel root 2R distance. Acceleration would be F by m. F is E into E. E is rho A by 3 epsilon naught divided by mass of electron. So simply uniformly accelerated motion, so half A, which is A rho, don't get confused by that A acceleration, this is acceleration I should write, upon 3 epsilon naught m into t square should be equals to root 2r. So what we are searching for, we are searching for the time. So this time is 6 root 2r epsilon naught m upon E rho A, and this whole root. So now what I have here, which option? So it's coming like A. A is looking to me the perfect option. Then it is A. Yes. So go ahead. So this is option A. So cavity, if you remember the direct formula of field, you could have started from there only. Three particles are placed on a straight line. The masses P, Q, R are root 3 m. Okay, let me have root 3 m. Okay, the gravitational force on the fourth particle of mass m is equal to, okay, this distance is root 3d, this angle is 90, I can make it out. So if I do this, this would be 2d, and this would be 3 square, 9 plus 3, 12. 12 means it would be 2 root 3. Okay, that is, you can make from your geometry logics. Now this will attract it here, this will attract it here, and this will attract it here. Now let me have the values. The first one, due to P, the force on S because of P, magnitude I'm just checking, that would be G times root 3m into m upon 2 root 3d ka whole square. So it becomes root 3 gm square, and if I do this, this is 12d square. F on S due to Q, that would be simply G into root 3m into m upon root 3d ka whole square. So that becomes as root 3 gm square by 3d square. Okay, so if I call this as f naught, this would be, I can call 4f naught. Now f on S due to R would be G m into m into 2d ka whole square, that is gm square by 4d square. So if that was f naught, this would be root 3 f naught. I can write 3 by root 3, that would be root 3 f naught, I can write. Okay, so this is root 3 f naught, so let this is be root 3 f naught, this one is f naught, and this one is what we have, 4 f naught. So first calculate this component along this line. So this angle I can make out is 30 degrees. You can easily see from here, let me draw it. See, tan theta is root 3 upon 3, that is 1 by root 3, that is 30 degrees. Similarly, tan theta is root 3, so here it would be 60. So this is 30 degrees, this is 60 degrees. So if I do the component there, what I will get, that component is f naught cos 30, that is f naught root 3 by 2. That component is root 3 f naught cos 60, that is root 3 f naught by 2. Both will cancel each other, so no component along UT line, so then net force would be along the SQ line only, that is for sure. So how many options are there? Only this. So if you can calculate also, this value will come out as root 3 gm square by 2d square. I'm directly doing it because I have checked the component along UT is 0, so we can directly make up. No point in doing again, because we are sure that we have done the calculations right. Now go ahead. Fourth one, there is a liquid of density 0.85 gram per centimeter cube, flows through a calorimeter at this rate. Heat is added by a means of 250 watt electric heating coil, and temperature difference of 15 degrees established in steady state condition between the inflow and outflow points, the specific heat for the liquid. So since the difference of 15 is maintained, that means all the heat will be equal to that ms delta T. So that ms delta T, that would be equal to, or per unit time, that is dm by dt. I should write dm by dt into s delta T should be equals to 250, that is for sure. Now what is dm by dt? So the mass flow rate can be written as density into volumetric flow rate. You know this in fluids, that is 250. Now what we have to calculate s. So what will I have? 250 upon delta T is 15 upon dv by dt. So what is the dv by dt? That is given as 8 centimeter cube. So I convert it into 10 to the power minus 6 meter cube. Okay, and density 0.85 means 850 kg per meter cube. So write it as 850. So this is what we have done in the standard unit till now, what I was doing. So let me do in a standard units only, then I will convert it again. Okay, so now what we have now, so 250, let me take the powers thing, 10 to the power minus 6 to 10 to the power minus 3 I do, and 10 to the power 3 goes up. Let it write as 0.85, 15 8s are, that is 120. So this is what we have. So 25 upon 12 5s are 60, 12 8s are 96, 102. So this is 10.2 into 10 to the power 3. So it is approximately, I can make out 2.5 or less than into 10 to the power 3. I can write it as joule per kg per Kelvin. Now what I need to convert it into kilocalories. So what I know, 1 kilocalorie is 4186. So if I divide this 2.5 upon, or I should write as 2500 upon 4186, it would be close to 0.6 I can make out. So go for option A. Now next one, a fixed mass of oxygen gas performs a cyclic process ABCA as shown in the figure. Efficiency of the cycle. Okay, So carefully look at the figure. This is PT diagram, not PV, na? So area won't give you anything. So A to B is volume constant. I can make out straight line passing through origin. Here temperature is constant. Here pressure is constant. Okay. So first of all, in the first process QAB, I can write QAB, I can directly write as NCV delta T. Whatever be the moles, and CV for oxygen I know is 5/2. So 5/2 nR delta T. So delta T I can easily make out, that is 2T. Now QBC, because is an isothermal, QBC would be equal to the work done. Work done would be, here the pressure is decreasing, that means volume is increasing, so work will be positive. I can directly write nRT, that is nR into 3T, ln of V final by V initial or P initial by P final, that will give me ln 3. So this is positive, this is positive. So this will be negative for sure. QCA, this is isobaric, NCP delta T. So this is N into 5/2, not 5/2, sorry, this is CP. So this should be 7/2. 7/2 R delta T is minus 2T. So what I get now, minus 7 nRT. And if you do this, this was 5 nRT. So what is QNet? QNet comes out as 3 nRT ln 3 minus 2 nRT, I can write. And what is Qn? Qn means only the positive ones, that means 5 nRT plus 3 nRT ln 3. So efficiency is Qnet upon Qn, that we know. So that comes out as nRT goes down, 3 ln 3 minus 2 upon 3 ln 3 plus 5. Is there any option like this? Yes, the first one looks like that, so it's correct one. Next one, sixth one. A cone made of insulating material has a total charge Q spread uniformly over its sloping surface having a slant length L. The energy required to take a test charge Q from infinity to apex A. So work required, energy required is Q delta V. At infinity it is 0. So you simply need to calculate the potential at A. So you need to calculate the potential at A. Now how I am going to calculate? First of all, the surface charge density would be Q upon the surface area, you know, would be equal to pi RL. Okay, so that is the density. Now going ahead, doing this, what we will have, sigma is Q upon pi RL. Let me take this, what we have, slant length is L. Okay, so I know this length is L. So go at a distance x, take a small strip dx and take it like this, and let's assume this radius to be small r, let's assume this radius to be capital R. So from similar triangle, what I can make out, first of all, I can simply say r upon capital R would be equal to x by L. So small r is r into x by L, that is what I can say. Now take this small section, what would be the charge on it? First of all, charge would be sigma into the area it will have, the thin ring to pi r dx, that I can write. Okay, now what I now have, sigma Q upon pi r L to pi r, I should write at capital R, x by L dx. Okay, now due to this small thing, this is an axial point at a distance x, so the potential due to this small section dv I should write would be equal to, for the ring I'll take the formula k dq, sorry not dx, k dq by the distance that we have, the slant length will become the distance, which is x. Okay, so putting the values, k I write it as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, dq would be q into, let's simplify this first, pi and r get cancelled, 2q x upon what we had, L square. Okay, this is dq, dx upon x, so x and x get cancelled. Okay, so calculation will become easy. So 2 and this, write it as q upon 2 pi epsilon naught L square, and this would be dx integration. So v would be integration, x should vary from 0 to L, so 1 L will get cancelled. So q upon 2 pi epsilon naught L. So it was looking like tough, but it is not that tough once you start doing. So again the option A. Okay, next one. Rain driven by the wind falls on a railway compartment with a velocity of 20 at an angle of 30 degree to the vertical. Okay, falls on railway compartment at an angle 30 to the vertical. The train moves along the direction of the wind flow at a speed of 108 kmph. The apparent velocity of rain for a person sitting in the train will be. So first of all, convert it into meter per second. So 108 into 5 by 18. So this is 6 5 is a 30 meter per second. Let's say 6 5 is a 30 meter per second. This is speed of train. Okay. Now rain driven by, okay, now we have to find the velocity of rain with respect to the person in the train. That is, we need to find out what is VRT. Now velocity of rain is 20 is 30 to the vertical, and plus it is going in the wind flow in the direction of the train. So I can directly make out, if this is VT, the rain would be falling like this, vertical towards this direction, 30 degree. This is VR. So I can say the angle between them will be 60 degrees. So now VRT I know is equals to VR vector minus VT vector, and I know the angle between these two. So the magnitude wise I can directly say that is equal to VR square plus VT square plus minus 2VR VT, and this angle is 60. So cos of 60 degrees. So now what I have, VR square, that is 20 square, VT square, 30 square, cos 60 is half, so 2 get cancelled, so minus 20 into 30. So what we have, 400 plus 900, and this is 600. So this is root of 700 meter per second, that we can write in root 7. So this is how you can do this. So important thing is, because it was going in the direction of wind flow, this would be like this, not like this. Otherwise you will get 120 and you will have plus 600 thing coming there. Now going ahead, next question 8. All surfaces are smooth. The system is released when with the spring unstretched, and equilibrium compression in the spring will be. Okay, so I know from the constraints, this will go down, this will go up. Okay, so in equilibrium, so what happens in equilibrium, so whatever be in the equilibrium, I need to find out the compression in the spring. So first of all, let me draw the FBD of this one, this block. So a spring is compressed, so spring will put a force Kx. Its own weight would be like this would be what I call mg, and there will be this normal force coming at an angle 45 degree like this, and this angle will will be 45 degree, and plus a normal will be coming from ground. So you can directly make out this horizontal equilibrium condition says n cos 45 should be equal to Kx, or n by root 2 should be equals to Kx. Now what is the value of n? For that I draw the FBD of this m. So for this m, what I have, this will be the normal and this will be its mg. So for the equilibrium, again all angles are 45, so no issue. What I can directly make out, n by root 2 would be equal to mg. So going by that, mg should be equal to Kx, so x should be equals to mg by k. So again, it was not that tough, which the figure was giving the feel. You can easily make it out. Next, for a radioactive sample, the initial activity was 8 CPS, and after 3 hours it becomes 1 CPS. 8 to 1, that is 1 by 8, that is 3t half. 3t half is 3 hours, that means half life is 1 hour. This is the easiest one we have got right till now. Next one, a wire bent as a parabola, y equals to kx square, is located in a uniform field of induction B, the B being perpendicular to plane xy. Okay, t equal to 0, the sliding wire starts sliding from the vertex O with a constant acceleration a linearly. Find the EMF induced in the loop. Okay, so find the EMF induced in the loop. So what is the EMF induced in the loop? I need to find it out. So first of all, at any instant, let's say it has gone up by this distance y. So this y equals to kx square, so I need to find out this length x. So x would be equals to root of y by k. This would be equal to root of y by k. So this length that would be incorporating, that length would be 2x. That length is going to be, now since it is sliding, I can use the motional EMF. E would be BVL, and V I know, let's say V, I'll first try to find out what would be the V, but that V into L will be 2x. Now V will, let's say normally I can write it 80, but there's no t term, so I can use V as root 2 AY here. So B into root 2 AY and 2x. So 2 times root of y by k I can write. So this whole thing, what I have to be, I can take out, and here what I am getting is, or let's say keep 2 here inside. So what I will have B, and this will become 8a by k, and y will come out. So for me, the option C seems to be the answer. Let me check. Yes, the C is the answer. Next, go ahead. 11th one, the radiation emitted when electron jumps from 3 to 2 orbit falls on a metal to produce photoelectrons. Electrons from the surface with maximum kinetic energy are made to move in a field like this. Find the work function. The first, calculate Kmax from here. So what we know, radius is equal to mv by qb, or I can write it directly as root 2 mk by qb. So find out that k max thing because it is given k max. So it is q square b square r square by 2m. Okay, so it would be a tough calculation. Let's try. So E would be 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. 1 E I am writing for EV, so I can directly write it in EV. Okay, B square 1 by 320, so I write it as 320 into 320. And again r square is 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power minus 6, that is 2, and m is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31. This is now in EV. Now what I need to do now, this is 31, this is 6, this is 19, 25 to 10 to the power minus plus 6, but 2 will cancel, to 10 to the power 4 gets above 1.6, 32 into 32 into 2 into 9.1. So what I have, this is 20, so 1 0 again goes, so 1000 I can write. And what I have, 32 into 4 I can write it as, let's say 32 into 4 into 9.1. so tough calculation, no issues. 4, what we have, 250. Again what I have, if I do it from 2, this is 125, this is 16, so 125 9.1, this is 144, 145.6 EV. So if you do this, it will be, what I can say, it would be 0.8 something. I can make it out 0.8 something. And first calculate the value of this 3 to 2. So the energy of the photon was 3 to 2. So we know for the 2 is 10.2, and for that is not 10.2, sorry, 3.4 and 1.5. so that is 1.9 EV, I know. So that was 1.9 EV, and this is approximately coming out as 0.8 something. So it would be 1.0 something is the most appropriate option. I can take that. Okay, no need to do that finer calculation. Options are like that. Now 12th, a U-tube shown as a uniform cross-sectional liquid is filled in the two arms up to a height h1 h2, and then the liquid is allowed to move. Neglect viscosity and surface tension. When the levels equalize in the two arms, the liquid will be, so when the levels will equalize, because it is have the uniform cross-section, now it will fall some height, it will gain some height, so there will be some change because the system is getting stabilized, that's for sure. So potential energy will decrease and kinetic energy will increase. So I need to find out what is the kinetic energy. So what is the kinetic energy I need to find? So first of all, I know what would be the final level. It would be somewhere here between, so I can see this particular section is shifted here. So this length I can easily make out, what I can say, h1 h2, this would be h1 plus h2 by 2. So what is this gap? This gap is h1 plus h2 minus h2, that is equal to h1 minus h2 by 2. So this gap is h1 minus h2 by 2. This will be the same. So what is the mass enclosed in it? Rho A into h1 minus h2 by 2. This is the mass enclosed. This g into height, this cm to this cm, again height will also be same, h1 minus h2 by 2. So this is the loss in potential energy, that would be equal to half mv square. So half m, total mass would be rho A into h1 plus h plus h2 into v square, because all will have the same speed. So this rho A get cancelled. So now what I get, h1 minus h2 by 2 ka to whole square into this will become 2g here, h1 plus h plus h2, that would be equal to v square. Now you can make out what is the answer that should be written. So it is looking like only C option is correct. So C is the correct one. Okay, now go ahead. A ray of light is incident on a surface of a glass slab at an angle 45. If the lateral shift produced per unit thickness is 1 by root 3 meters, then the angle of refraction produced at the incident surface of a glass slab, you know generally what we used to do, and this is, let's say, a glass slab, and let's say this is incident at some angle I, it goes here and again it goes like this. So the lateral shift generally we calculate like this. This the formula, you know, the lateral shift, that shift you call it d, we directly write it as t sine of I minus r into sec r, or you write it as divided by cos r. So if you remember this, now this is shift per unit thickness, that means not d, that is d by t. So d by t I can write as 1 by root 3, that is equal to sine of I is what, 45 minus r upon cos r. So now it's a question of trigonometry for you. You have to solve this question. How you will solve? So use sine a minus sine b. I can write it as sine 45 cos r minus sine r into cos 45 upon cos of r. So what I get, sin 45 1 by root 2 cos r cancel, and this is what I get, tan r. This will also be 1 by root 2. Let's take it common, that is 1 by root 3. So what I get, 1 minus tan r is equal to root of 2 by 3. So tan r is 1 minus root of 2 by 3. So now you can make out what option you will search for. This is option B. So just remember, with this result, we generally advise students to remember this result. Now the next one. The next one is question number 14c. Small particle of mass m and its retaining cord is spinning with angular velocity omega on a horizontal surface of a smooth disk. As the force F is slightly relaxed, r increases and omega changes. Determine the rate of change of omega with respect. Now here you know the motion is because of this force, and this force acts here. So about this axis I can say its torque is 0 and nmg torque get cancelled. So in such questions you have done, you know the main important concept is L is going to remain constant. So in terms of omega I can write it as m omega r square is going to remain constant. So what we have, differentiate is dl by dt, that would be equal to first time mr square common, d omega by dt, second time m omega into 2r, because that would be that 2 dr by dt. So 2r into what I should write, dr by dt, that should be equal to 0. Now what is the rate of change of omega with respect to r? So with respect to r, if I had to do, so dt get cancelled, you can think of like that. So d omega by dr, I can directly write that would be minus 2 omega by r I am getting. So it is minus 2 omega by r I am getting. So option C I am getting. Next, the carrier frequency generated by a circuit containing capacitor inductor. Whenever capacitor inductor is given, you know frequency is in no formula, except this 1 upon 2 pi root LC. So now put the values, 1 upon 2 pi, 1 upon L. What is L? L comes out as 10 micro, 10 ki power minus 6, and C is 1 nano. Nano is 10 to the power minus 9. Okay, so 10 to the power 9 and 6, 15, 10 to the power minus 14. So this is 10 to the power 7 and above upon 2 pi. So 10 to the power 7 upon 2 pi, that is what we are getting. 9, 6, 15, 1, yes, that is what we are getting, 10 to the power 7 by 2 pi. So in terms of kilohertz, if I write, it would be 10 to the power 3, that will become kilo, 10 to 1, 2, 3, 4 upon 2 pi. So if I do this approximately, if I do 100 upon 6.28, it is roughly 15 or 16. I can make out 16, and this would be 16, this plus 2 figures, 1600 kilohertz approx. So this is 1592 kilohertz that I should go with. Next, an ideal gas gamma expended adiabatically, how many times its initial volume should be gas of the gas be expended to reduce the RMS by a factor of 2. RMS to reduce by a factor of 2, matlab temperature should become 1 by 4 because V is proportional to root 2. So T should become 1 by 4, and we know T V to the power gamma minus 1 is constant. So what we have, T V to the power half is constant. So V is, you can say, is proportional to 1 by T square. That is the best thing you can have. So temperature is becoming 1/4. So V will become 16 times. Go for option B. It's not that tough. You have done such questions before. Next. Two quantities are related by relation A by B is M, where M is linear mass density, A is a force, the dimension of B will be, okay. So dimension of B, you know, is equal to A by M. Now, M is linear mass density, A is force. Force means MLT minus 2, MLT minus 2, not ML2, that is energy. MLT minus 2 I have. And for the mass per unit length, I have ML minus 1. So M and M get cancelled. It becomes, what it becomes? It becomes L minus 2, T minus 2. So L minus 2, T minus 2, what it is pressure? No. It is work? No. It is momentum? No, because all have mass. So now what we are left with? We are left with the choice of latent heat, and if I determine latent heat, it is Q by M. Q is ML2 T minus 2 energy upon M. Okay, so it is matching. So no issue. Option A. 17th. Next, what I have, 18th. A point source S emitting light of wavelength 600 nanometer is placed at a very small height h above a flat reflecting surface AB. Intensity of the reflected light is 30%, 6%. Interference fringes are observed on a screen placed parallel to the reflecting surface at a very large distance d from it. Okay. If the intensity at point P corresponds to a maxima, then the minimum distance through which the reflecting surface AB should be shifted so that the intensity at P again becomes the part difference here would be this distance, this is the extra distance it has to travel, so part difference is 2h. So here 2h must be some 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, because we have to take the pi phase change of reflection. Now to change it by lambda 2, that means 2 delta h should be equals to lambda, sorry, again a maxima means the change should be lambda. So 2 delta h should be equals to lambda, that I should write. So what is the value of what you need? The change delta h. So the shift delta h would be equals to lambda by 2. Lambda by 2 is 300 nanometers. So question is very filmy, but solution is not that difficult if you can understand the question. Now moving means here you can say the gap has to be changed, either it goes up or either it goes down. Now go ahead. 19th one. A string of mass per unit length mu clamped at both ends such that x equal to 0 and other is x equal to L. When the string vibrates in fundamental, the amplitude of the midpoint is A and the tension is T. Find the total oscillation energy stored in the spring. Now what is the total energy stored in the spring? I need to calculate. So here you see, because it is in fundamental mode, I can directly write this L would be equal to lambda by 2. So lambda becomes 2L, that is for sure, and K is 2 pi by lambda. So 2 pi by lambda becomes pi by L. Okay, now if I need to calculate write the expression of the amplitude at any point, that would be maximum is 2a, that is a here, and that would be sine, because you know x equal to 0 is a, what we say is a node. So sine kx forms, so sine pi x by L, that would be the amplitude. So for any particle at L located at any x, its energy of SHM would be what we say half m omega square a square. So let it call it half dm into omega square a square. What would be its amplitude? Let's say capital A square. So doing this, what we will get, this dm I can write as mu dx. So this dm is mu dx into this omega square, write it like this, and this a square will become a square sine square pi x by L dx. So if I do this integration, what I will get, half mu omega square a square, I can take common, this is sine square pi x by L dx. You have to do from where to where? You have to do it from 0 to L. Okay, so if you do this, this comes out as 1 by 4 mu omega square a square L. That is the value that, not L square, that L, capital L, that I have. This is the value I have. Now substitute the value. The value is what we can do, mu is mu, you need not to substitute anything. 1 by 4 mu a square omega square. Now what is omega square? It is 2 pi f square, that is 4 pi square. F square would be v square by 4l square into L. So this L get cancelled, this 4 and 4 get cancelled, and what we have, v square is t by mu, so mu will get cancelled and you will get this option A. That is the answer that we will get. So you can do this. This is again a tough one. If you don't know this, the way of integration, it might be tougher for you. Okay, next one, what I have, question number 20 is in front of me. Now let's see what it is in it. It is question number 20. See, one end of a light spring of natural length d and spring constant k is fixed on a rigid wall, and the other is fixed to a smooth ring of mass m which can slide without friction, and a vertical rod fixed at d from the initially spring makes an angle 37. Okay, the horizontal, find the speed of ring when spring becomes horizontal. Okay, so now natural length is d, so definitely it is extended right now. And if I do my trigonometry thing, this cos 37 is d by L, and cos 37 I know is equal to 4 by 5. So d by L is 4 by 5, so L is equals to 5d by 4. So the extension is d by 4 right now. And this h you know would be equal to what we have. If we do this, 1037 is h by d, which is 3 by 4, so this would be 3d by 4. Okay, now initially with the horizontal, when the system is released, find the speed of the ring when the spring becomes horizontal. So for this time, because there is no friction, applying energy conservation, loss in potential energy, that would be equal to 3 mg d by 4. Loss in spring energy would be half k into d by 4 ka whole square, that would be equal to half mv square. Directly you can write. So now what I have now, so what are the values I am giving? I am given m to 3 mg d by 4. If I do this, this becomes kd square by 32, that becomes half mv square. So v will become, if I do 3 mg d by 2 plus kd square by 16. Now you can make out what I can do. So if I take d, like d is coming common in everywhere, so it comes out as 3 mg by 2d. Okay, m will cancel. What is I'm doing? m will be cancelled and this m will be here. So this m I need to get it away. So this is 3g by 2d plus this would be k by 16m. So option A is the most easier one that I can make out. Okay, so these were the straight objectives. Now fatafat go to this subjective numericals. Which state of triply ionized beryllium has the same orbital radius as the ground state? We know Rn is equal to n square by z into a naught, so that because it has to be a naught, and z is what 3 plus z is 4, so n square should be equal to 4, so n is equal to 2, so it's not a tough one. You can directly make out n is equal to 2. This is one of the easier one I can say. Now go ahead. In a rotor, a hollow vertical cylindrical structure rotates, out axis percent rotates, rest against the inner wall. Okay, you know that standard problem. So you know that this is the rotor. For the person not to fly, this is what the normal, and this is what the mg, and this is what the fs is. So for the person to stay, fs should be equal to mg. N provides the centripetal force, that is n is equal to m omega square r. This should be less than equal to mu s n. So mg should be less than equal to mu s m omega square r. So important thing is the condition does not depend on what is the mass of the person, whether there is a small child or a man, the value remains the same. So what do you have to calculate? You have to calculate the speed, so the minimum speed omega that we need to find out. So just in the limiting case, omega minimum would be equal to root g by mu s r. Most of you might be remembering it directly also. So gt 0.2 into 2, that is 10 upon 0.4. You can write it at 100 upon 4, or you can write it at 5 radian per second, that you can have. Okay, radian per second I have calculated omega. If I have to calculate v would be omega r. So omega r would be 5 into 2, that is going to be 10. So 10 meter per second. Okay, I thought it would be for omega, so I calculated omega, no issue. 23rd. The distance advanced by the screw of a screw gauge is 2 mm in 4 rotation. That means pitch is equals to 2 mm by 4, that is equal to 0.5 mm. Okay, cap is divided into 50 divisions, therefore least count would be pitch upon number of divisions, 0.5 upon 50. So what you have now, 0.01 mm, that is what you have now. Okay, if the screw cap reads 3 division on the main scale and 32 divisions on the cap, so 3 means 3 into 0.5 and 32 means 32 into 0.01. So the value is 1.5 plus 0.32, so this is 1.82. so it's not a tough one if you know how to do this screw gauge question. Next one. The deflection in the galvanometer falls to 1/4 of its initial value when it is shunted by a 3 ohms. If the additional shunt of 2 ohm is connected in parallel to earlier shunt, the deflection in the galvanometer falls to 1 by nth. What is the value of nth? Okay, so deflection falls to 1/4. Deflection falls to 1/4. That means that I by 4 into G would be equal to 3I by 4 into 3. So because the 1/4 current is going, so 3/4 would be going through the shunt. So from there you get the value of G is equals to 9 ohms. Okay, now additional shunt of 2 is connected, so that it is connected to earlier shunt. So now what we will have, now the value will be like 3 and 2 will be in shunted. So 3 into 2 upon 3 plus 2, that is 6 by 5. So now what would be, let's call it I by n into G would be equals to n minus 1 I by n into 6 by 5. So this I n get cancelled. N minus 1 would be G is 9 into 5 by 6. This is 3, this is what, 2, this is 15 by 2. So n would be 15 by 2 plus 2, this is 17 by 2. So what is the value of n? So value of n, 17 by 2, that is 8.5 I can write. So it's a good one. Now 25th. An object of mass 8 kg starts to move from rest by this force, variable force. You can see if initially the position is at x equal to, the position of the object is x equal to 0, find its speed when it crosses x equal to 10. So between 2 to 10 I need to calculate the work done. Work done would be F dx, that is equal to delta k, work energy theorem. W net is delta k, that's simple. So 3x dx from 2 to 10, that is equal to half m, and what we have, v square minus 0 square, you can write like this. So 3x is square by 2, so x is square by 2, 2 common, 10 square minus 2 square, half m is 8 into v square. So this becomes 4. So 3 by 2, 100 minus 4, 96, 96 by 4 equal to v square. So 2, 4, 8, 8, that is 12, 12, 3 is 36, v equal to 6 meter per second. So it's again 6 meter per second. So that subjective questions are comparatively far easier than what you had in the objective one. So that was for the today's paper. Meet you again tomorrow. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing this channel. Thank you all.